Hey everyone, welcome back to DevOps Impact Journey. In today's video, we're going to look at CNCF graduated project Istio under 3 minutes. So if you're building a microservice architecture application, you probably come across the problem of scalability, observability, and security. So your applications are now distributed, which means you will need to have a proper way to scale them up. You will probably need to aggregate logs. You'll need to see which application is talking to which microservice, and how to have a distributed tracing essentially. And also you need to have a secure way of communicating between those services and overall maintaining a security of your distributed application. So this is where Istio comes in. Istio is a open source service mesh that helps you deploy your distributed application in a secure, reliable, and scalable fashion. And it also helps you with traceability, and then also helps you with policy enforcement. So what does that mean? So policy enforcement essentially means that every time your service talks to another service, you will need to have some sort of rule on whether it can talk to it or what sort of API endpoints it's able to contact, what kind of authentication it needs, and things like that. So you can configure two different microservices to talk to each other only when they're authenticated against each other, for example. So how does Istio work? Istio is deployed as an operator in a Kubernetes cluster, for example, and what it does is it observes any pods that are deployed into the cluster. So you can configure it to observe a particular type of pod with a different annotation and YAML maps. So as soon as a pod that it's observing gets deployed, it mutates it and it injects a sidecar container in the pod. So that sidecar container acts as a proxy for all the traffic to and from the microservice. So that essentially creates a data plane for your entire application. So this data plane is now able to control what comes into your service, what goes out of your service, and who is able to do what. For example, user A can only do a put request and user B can only make a GET request to a certain endpoint, for example. So all of these things is made possible by that sidecar container that gets injected into the pod. So that's essentially how it works. In the backend, the proxy that it uses is Envoy proxy, which is also a CNCF graduated project. So Envoy proxy is able to act as a sidecar proxy and export all the data for your traceability and distributed logging as well. So I hope that helps. That was a quick introduction to CNCF graduated project Istio, and see you in the next one.